What has happened since November? Well, I had a baby. Okay, so there were a number of reasons why I just could not film for a while. I'm not gonna lie, pregnancy was not fun. So physically, you missed the second and third trimester. So second trimester, I was sick almost the entire time. Not stomach sick, but your immune system is down when you're pregnant. And I got a little cold that just could not quit. I coughed and I coughed and I coughed constantly. So bad that I threw my back out at one point and I landed in the emergency room. Can't recommend that because there's just nothing they can do when you're pregnant. So I just had this incredible back pain for about 4 days before anything could be done about it. So there's that. We went on a big family vacation. My mom flew myself, my brother, my sister-in-law, and the niece and nephew out to Germany, and we did another Christmas market river cruise, which she and I had done the year prior and had such a good time. She was like, I want to bring the kids on this. And I turned 40 with very little fanfare, just had a pizza party at home with like 10 people maybe. And that was kind of perfect. It was really nice to just sit in our PJs and talk. I expected to have some sort of like monumental shift in turning 40, but I think being pregnant is a monumental shift enough. And then my third trimester was just spent in pain. So I didn't do anything. I just kind of sat around and moaned and groaned about how much my rib hurt. I had a previous rib injury that I guess never healed right. And I didn't know until I had a little thing inside of me kicking on exactly where that spot was. So my best friends at that time were my heating pad and our IKEA Poang chair that I would just prop pillows all around me to get into some kind of weird twisted position that felt fine until it didn't. Fast forward to May, which is when we had a little family reunion for my baby shower. The family flew out here to California, including Michael and his boyfriend, and we had this really cute little photo shoot. I planned a ultrasound experience for us, since the only people who ever got to go to the ultrasound were me and my mom. I did one of those boutique ultrasounds, and birth came shortly after that. It's a crazy story. I will fill you in on that next week. And since then, I've just been living in the fourth trimester. So physically, that's what was going on, but emotionally, the depression that I was suffering through during my first trimester shifted into something that was like still depression, but a little bit more subtle. I withdrew socially. I didn't see people, I didn't really talk to people. I just wanted to spend time with my mom and sit on the couch and watch my new favorite YouTube channel, Cruise with Ben and David. You've got to check them out. They're my favorite. Watching them was very soothing because I just found kind of a stirring of emotions inside of me where like, I have this desire to start anew for this new little baby, right? But not really sure what that newness that I wanted was. But what was great was like, I was aware that I wasn't able to know and kind of comfortable in that. So I just emotionally nested. Let's be real. The election really fucked things up too. I really didn't feel comfortable engaging in these tech platforms that were cozying up to the administration. But obviously I'm on camera now, and I am uploading this to one of those tech platforms. So what changed? If you haven't met me before, hello, my name is Meredith. I started the Backup Plan as a podcast and kind of quickly shifted into YouTube videos because I wanted to share my IVF journey as a single mother by choice. I wanted to share what my unique set of circumstances looked like. I was a late in life mom at 40, which I don't feel 40, I don't feel late in life, but I guess there are people having babies at like 21 out there. So being a single mother by choice is definitely a unique circumstance, but the most unique of all of the circumstances was that my gay best friend, Michael, who has been my best friend since I was about 19 years old, donated his sperm for me to have this experience. And while all of those little bullet points do lead up to a pretty unique story, there's other stuff that makes my story unique as well. My mother moved in with me in 2021. My dad passed away. He had stage 4 cancer, and she and I helped him on his journey to the other side. For the 10 years prior to that, I had been in Los Angeles, kind of toiling away in the entertainment industry, working on all facets from pre-production through post-production. And I just bought a 1-bedroom apartment. That was my like bachelorette pad. I was working at Lucasfilm. I had worked my way up through like British Film Commission, ABC Network, Netflix. I felt like I was in a really good space to have this really cool like single girl life. And I was the one who told my mom to move out here. She didn't put that on me. I said, come with me, like, let's have some fun. And we found this house in Orange County, and we jumped at the opportunity because it's a mid-century modern house built by a famous architect, and it just seemed like it could be a really cool experience to live here. And I was like, it's not really that far from Los Angeles, but what I have come to find out is that it's just far enough away that like my routine and my social life was completely interrupted, which is fine because this home is like everything to me. When we moved in, the bones of it were there. It had all its original windows. Really nothing foundationally had been changed on the house. The kitchen and the bathrooms were terrible, and nothing about them was original, so we didn't feel, bad about going in there and mucking that stuff up. It's got a yard. It's walking distance to Disneyland. Like, it just seemed like the perfect opportunity. So, we've fully gutted the kitchen. We replaced all the floors in the house. We built privacy walls outside. Oh, and I should probably mention that the entire time I've been pregnant, we've been converting the garage into a studio apartment. I am aware that this lifestyle that I live is not conventional, and it's not the norm for like most Americans, and that's why I think it's worth sharing. I've had a lot of people reach out to me in the last few months telling me that they've been inspired by my choices and that it's encouraged them to make their own unique choices. And I just want people to know that the path that you're on, or the path that you've been planning for yourself, maybe it's not the right one. And maybe you've got to deviate, and maybe you've got to adapt. Maybe your plan A, the original plan, isn't as good as what the backup plan can be. Things in my life are going to continue to be interesting. I am constantly navigating what co-parenting looks like now with Michael. I am a single mother, technically, but my mom's here to help, and Michael was here for the first 2 weeks of my son's life, and he just left. He was here for another 2 weeks. He's planning his next trip. Our friendship is evolving around the situation in a beautiful way. It's gorgeous. And so, I want to share that. My mom and I have a very strong desire to travel with the baby. I'm considering what I want to do with my career as I move forward. There are a lot of moving parts, and I feel like they're worth sharing. So what does the backup plan mean now? Before it was referring to my plan with Michael, but now it's just like this whole lifestyle. I am living in the sandwich generation, in which I am taking care of my son, but I'm also taking care of my mother. Now she's taking care of us, and my baby is taking care of us emotionally. He's definitely perking up our moods and depriving me of sleep. But this multi-generational living situation is something that I know is becoming more prevalent in the States. I want to share what that looks like for us. I am a mom over 40. I want to share that is not some sort of horrifying, geriatric pregnancy sort of situation. I thought that being a mom at this age would be so exhausting and be so tiring, and I wouldn't have the energy, and that's not the case. I feel more like myself, and I feel more emboldened and excited than I ever have. It's not so burdensome. So people need to know that. I don't know. I need to find some new terminology, because this doesn't feel like single motherhood. It doesn't feel like being a single mother by choice. It feels different. So that's what the backup plan is now. Like I said, I'm adapting. My choices feel like they have a lot of weight. So this is my backup plan, and I'm living it, and the plan is evolving as we're moving. I put a lot of thought into the choices that I'm making, and I am set on creating a life that is more thrilling, excited, and centered than the one I expected. So here's where we're going to take this. I want to share some lifestyle content. I want to share what it's like living with my mom in less of a gray garden situation than I thought it was going to be. Yay. I want to share what life looks like, not as a sad, beige, millennial, girly, There's color around here. Maybe some of that lifestyle content are the renovations that we're going through here. I'm really proud of what this little house looks like. I want to share how I'm doing child rearing. There's a lot of intentionality with what I'm doing here with my baby. And I've thought a lot about the environment that I want to raise my child in. That said, like, I haven't done a lot of research. I'm not on social media for like hints and tips on how to do this. Like, for me, that parental instinct comes super, super easy. Like, this isn't hard. I was a little worried it might be, but it's been super easy. I go on instinct. I am lucky and blessed to have a pretty easy baby, but as I move forward from a newborn phase and into an infancy phase, and I'm thinking about what it's going to be like to raise him as a toddler, what it's going to be like to raise him as a kid, it's all morphing and changing, obviously, but, you know, I'm not here for the typical, like, gentle parenting movement that a lot of people my age are. I have really high standards for my son. Like, I expect from him kindness, empathy, curiosity, respect. And I just want to imbue that in everything that we do with him, because raising a boy in this day and age is going to be difficult. And I want to take this guy everywhere. And so travel is probably going to be a big part of this. Like, I love travel. I was really fortunate, like, literally right before 2020, right before everything shut down, I had a job that allowed me to travel the world. And it sent me to destinations that I wouldn't have expected, but I ended up having, like, the best time in. I always had a desire to travel, but at that time it made me realize how important really, truly seeing the world is. I had a conversation on those travels with a friend of mine that I'd gone to college with, and she is from the Netherlands, but went to school in Florida, where Michael and I went to school, and then ended up moving back to the Netherlands. And I remember having this conversation with her where she said that, like, after those big moves back and forth, nowhere ever really felt like home. That there were things that she would miss about each place when she was in the other one. And I get that. I get that hard, because there are places I've really, really wanted to leave. And then when I do, I'm so nostalgic for the things that I loved about them. And then the places that, like, I live in now, there are things I really love about where I'm living, but I am always constantly, like, looking to the horizon of are there better places I could be for me and my little family now? It's a very bittersweet feeling, but it provides me with a kind of worldly understanding, and I want my boy to have that as well. So I want to take him everywhere. I keep calling him my little adventure buddy. I just want to strap him on my back and take him about, and he really seems like he has the disposition for that. So, you know, and on that note, like, my mom, she always wanted to travel too. My dad was not a traveler at all. Now she's at a point where it's like, I've only got so many years. Let's do this. Let's go places. So if you are into watching content of a 75-year-old woman and her 40-year-old daughter and a tiny little baby travel the world, have I got a channel for you? So that's the plan. That's kind of where we're going. I wanted to sit down and kind of just memorialize that and get back into the habit of recording and editing and uploading. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if that sounds like something that you'd like to watch. I'm aiming to get new videos up every Thursday now. I was a Wednesday, but Thursday just seems a little bit more doable. Next week, I'm going to introduce you to my little guy. Here's a sneak peek. What do you think? Oh. And share my birth story, which definitely didn't go as expected. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. This is my big guy. This is my big guy. Wow. You like this setup? You like this setup? Whoa. Yeah. Gorgeous boy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.